Hey, welcome. Today, we're diving deep into a part of your body you probably think you know pretty well, your glutes. But we're going to look way past just the aesthetics and uncover their real job as, believe it or not, the most powerful engine in your entire body. But here's the million-dollar question we're going to tackle. If this muscle group is so incredibly powerful, why is it that for so many of us, it's basically asleep at the wheel? Answering this one question is the key to understanding a whole lot about posture, power, and even nagging chronic pain. All right, to get to the bottom of that, we first have to totally reframe how we even think about the glutes. It's time to move way beyond just, how they look. So just look at the two sides here. On the left, you've got the common view. It's all about looks, a hip-hop muscle, something that works by itself. But the reality, over on the right, it's so much deeper than that. We're talking about a complex power engine, the critical link that connects your core to your legs. It provides both the raw horsepower and the essential stability for almost every single move you make.
Okay, so if they're that important, what is going wrong? Well, this brings us to the core problem of our modern, sit-down all-day lives. We've essentially told our body's main engine to take a nap, a very, very long nap.
There's actually a clinical term for this, and it's called gluteal amnesia. Yeah, it sounds a little dramatic, but honestly, it's incredibly common. All that time we spend sitting around basically signals to your glutes that, hey, they're not really needed, so they just switch off. And when your primary mover is snoozing, other muscles have to step up and do its job, which, as you can imagine, leads to a whole cascade of problems. Now, what's really fascinating is you can actually see this weakness in action. One of the clearest, most obvious signs is something called the Trendelenburg sign. It's a dead giveaway that a key stabilizing glute muscle just isn't doing its job.
So here's what that looks like. When someone with these weak glute stabilizers stands on one leg, the hip on the side that's lifted up in the air will noticeably drop down. It's because the muscle on the standing leg just isn't strong enough to hold that pelvis nice and level.
And this is where you see that chain reaction I was talking about. To keep you from literally falling over, your body's got to do something. So it compensates by bending your spine sideways. Now imagine doing that thousands and thousands of times a day while you're just walking around. That is a direct recipe for chronic lower back pain, hip problems, and just feeling totally out of balance. So the bottom line is, a weak butt can literally cause a bad back.
So what do we do about it? How do we fix this? Well, the first step is to get properly acquainted with the team that's responsible for all this hard work. You see, it's not just one big muscle, it's a trio, and each one has a really distinct and vital job to do. Let's meet the team. First up, you've got the big one, the gluteus maximus. That's our power generator. Then you've got the gluteus medius, the all-important balance keeper. And finally, working deep under the surface, is the gluteus minimus, our deep stabilizer.
And to really get how they work together, I love this analogy of a high-performance sports car. Think of your gluteus maximus as the massive engine. It's what creates all that raw forward power you need to run, jump, and climb. But the medius and minimus, they're the advanced suspension and stability control system, and their job is to keep the entire chassis, your pelvis, perfectly level and balanced, especially when you're taking a sharp corner or hitting a bump in the road.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? You can have the most powerful engine in the world, but without a solid suspension system, you're going to crash the second you hit a corner. It's the exact same in your body. All that power without stability is just a direct path to injury. The whole system has to work together, perfectly. Okay, so now we know the team and we know the problem. How do we actually wake these muscles up? How do we cure that gluteal amnesia? Well, it's all about targeted activation and, maybe more importantly, stopping the other muscles from cheating. Now this is where things get really practical. Check this out. If you ever feel your hamstrings cramping up during a bridge, that's because they're trying to do the maximus's job. But a simple cue like push through your heels can help switch the work right back to your glutes. Or if your torso sways side to side during a side kick, your obliques are stepping in for the medius. A cue like keep both hip bones pointing forward forces that balance keeper muscle to do its job. You see, these cues aren't just simple instructions. They're like little neurological resets for your body. And that brings us to what I think is the most important takeaway from this whole discussion. The solution isn't just about doing a few exercises. It's about fundamentally re-educating your body's movement patterns.
You see, the goal isn't simply about getting stronger muscles. It's really about timing and coordination. It's about teaching your glutes to be the first ones to show up to the party, to fire on cue right away with just the right amount of force so that other muscles don't feel the need to jump in and compensate.
And here it is, the ultimate point. This isn't just muscle work. It is brain work. What you're really doing is re-educating your entire nervous system. Because when your glutes fire correctly, they create this incredible protective shield for your core and your spine. A strong, active glute system is honestly one of your best lines of defense against back pain and instability.
So, let's just quickly wrap this all up. We've seen that your glutes are so much more than what they look like. They are your body's true power engine. We learned how our sedentary lives can cause gluteal amnesia, which leads to compensation patterns and pain. We saw how that glute trio has to work together in harmony, just like a car's engine and its suspension. And most importantly, we learned the real fix is about retraining that brain-to-body connection for proper activation.
And that just leaves us with one final, pretty important question for you to think about. After everything we've looked at today, the compensation patterns, the stability tests, the true role of your body's most powerful engine, is yours really running the way it should be? Thanks for tuning in.